Welcome once again. My name is Moses, your host, and welcome you to the truth, the Bible truth, where we give you nothing but the truth. We teach truth, we preach truth, we bring the Bible to such a way that they harmonize themselves and give you the true meaning of what you're reading. Today we have another topic that is quite interesting, a topic that too many persons would like to go to. That's a verse people would like to go to and claim it to be their own. But the question now is this verse our verse? Remember when we talked about how to simple ways of understanding the Bible, where we have three certain points in which you must understand for you to know if this is talking to you or not. We had the three. The first one was who wrote the book. The second was to whom was the writer addressing. And the third was in what time period was this writer speaking. Remember, in the Bible we had time past, that's the Old Testament during the time of the Jews, the Israelite. Then we have the present or but now, where Paul is the apostle to the Gentile in the grace of, that's in the period of grace or the dispensation of grace. Then we have time to come in the revelation period, that's the tribulation period. So we need to understand the Bible, we need to understand who is writing, who is this person writing to. It's very important. If not, we might just get to misconstrue every single thing in the scriptures. So today we just want to talk about one particular verse, 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Let me just read that before we now read everything in context. Then we see if it's really talking to us or not. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. Now, too many people will run down to this verse, that is the will of God for me. That is the will of God for me. That above all things I must prosper in good health, prosper, making money, being rich, being in good health as my soul prospereth. Now, the question is, was this actually addressed to us? Was John addressing this to us or to Gentiles, as the case may be? Because you need to know who this person is addressing it to before we start claiming anything, as the case may be. So, without wasting much of our time, we just want to go to the real point, the Bible truth about 3 John chapter 1 verse 2, if it was talking to us. Now, let's take a little context from it. We'll read from verse 1 to, verse 1 to 5. Let's just look at verse 1 to 5, then we'll see how it is. Okay, I read. The elder unto the well-beloved Gaius, whom I love in the truth. So, John was referring to the elder unto the well-beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. He now says, Beloved, I wish, beloved. Who is the beloved? The well-beloved Gaius. He's actually talking to Gaius. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. For I rejoiced greatly when the brethren came and testified of the truth that is in thee. That is, he was greatly rejoicing in his heart when somebody or brethren came and testified the truth that is in Gaius. Remember, that is in thee, that is in Gaius. Even as thou walkest in truth, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. 5. Beloved, thou doest faithfully whatsoever thou doest to the brethren and to strangers. That is, he is still telling Gaius, do faithfully whatever you do to brethren, also you do to strangers. Now, it's very clear. Beloved, well-beloved Gaius, he is telling him he wishes above all things, and he also says he was greatly he greatly rejoiced when people came to tell him or testify the truth that was in him, and how he was always working in truth. I don't know if you're getting it now, but you could always say, this is not meant for me, this is meant for me. You're just saying anything. But now let us now go straight up to the Bible truth. Who wrote the book? John wrote the book. Who is John, and why was John writing to this person? Now let's go to Matthew 10:5-6. There we will know who John is. Matthew 10:5-6. Matthew 10:5-6. Okay, I'm in Matthew 10:5-6. These 12 Yeshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, these 12. That means John was part of the 12. Remember, the 12 disciples. If we read from verse 2, you can see now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simeon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John, this is the John we're talking about, John his brother, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. Now, these 12 Yeshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, but into any city of the Samaritan enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But go rather to where? To the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So these persons, these 12 disciples, were specifically asked to go to the lost sheep of Israel, the Jews, and not to the Gentiles, nor to the Samaritans. John was one of the 12 apostles, and he wrote the book of John. To get it clear, that is one proof that John wasn't talking to us who are descendants of the Gentiles, but was going to where? The lost sheep of Israel. Now let us take a second proof again that John was not referring to the Gentiles, rather he was referring to the Jews. Galatians 2:8-9. Galatians 2:8-9. Galatians 2:8-9. I read, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision. Remember, circumcision are the Jews. The Israelites then, or the Jews, were circumcision, because for you to become part of a Jew, you must be circumcised. The same was mighty me towards the Gentile. The same was mighty in me towards the Gentile. Who was talking? Paul wrote Galatians. So Paul was actually saying, for he that wrought effectually, that is he that walketh effectually, or walked effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, which are the Jews. The same was mighty in me, Paul, towards the Gentile. Remember, Romans 10:13, Paul was a minister to the Gentile, and he magnified his office. Now 9 says, and when James, Cephas, who is called Peter, and John, this same John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathens. Remember, they perceived the grace that was given unto him, knowing what he was preaching was basically different from what the 12 apostles were actually preaching. He was preaching grace. They were preaching the law, if we still understand. So the idea was, as I said, they gave me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathens. Who are the heathens? Remember, I said the heathens are the Gentiles. They can also be called the Gentiles, Greeks, or dogs, or uncircumcised. Heathens can be called Greek, Gentiles, dogs, or uncircumcised. So, I read again, that we should go unto the heathens, and they unto the circumcision. Are we getting it? James, Cephas, and John gave Paul and Barnabas a right hand of fellowship. Now, they now concluded and agreed that it is of a truth that you people preach a different gospel from what we have preached. So, as you have said that you were meant to preach to the Gentiles, now we have given you a right hand of fellowship as fellow apostles. Now, you can now go to the heathens or the uncircumcised, while they go to the circumcision, which is what? The Jews. Now, if we look at the Bible, you will notice, as this entails, James, Cephas, who is called Peter, and John. If we look at the Bible, you will see it follows that same procedure. James comes first, before Peter, then John, 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John. I just want to prove to you that John was part of the 12 disciples, and Yeshua directed them to preach to no other persons than the Jews, which are the circumcision. And in Galatians 2, it was also concluded that James, Cephas, and John should go preach to the circumcision or the Jews. So now the question is, 3 John was talking to which persons? Obviously the answer is there. 3 John was talking to the people of Israel, the Jewish people. Gaius was one of a Jewish person, so he was very happy, or he was very rejoiced of what he was doing. So it is obvious that the Bible is very easy to understand. What you only needed to do is follow the points. Who wrote the Bible? Who wrote that particular book? And to whom was this person preaching to? And at what time was this person preaching to? So if we understand this, then it makes it easier for us to know how to divide or rightly divide the Bible, know where the Bible is talking to you, and know where the Bible is not talking to you. So with this little teaching I've given you, I believe we should have understood how the Bible is, and 3 John 2 is never talking to us. Alright then, we'll see you again. Stay safe. Grace and peace to everybody.